Hello there. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about some essential conversational skills. What is conversational skills? Well, conversation, as you all know, is when two or more people talk to each other, usually face to face, or sometimes maybe online. That is known as conversation. And of course, it is a type of communication. There are so many different types of communications that we have. Communication that is done online, either on email or through different apps or on text messages. Then there is communication that is done through written letters, memos, or circulars. And then there is conversation. Conversation can be in many different forms. It is a face to face communication, as I said, between two or more people. And it can be an interview, it can be a formal meeting, it can be an informal meeting, it can be a lunch meeting, or it can even be in the form of a presentation that a person is making in front of a crowd. And there are certain essential basic skills which across the board, whatever type of conversation it is, whenever you are speaking to one or more people, you need to remember certain skill sets that you need to master whenever you are having a face-to-face conversation with one or more people. What are these? Well, let me just start by sharing my PPT with you. So, as we all know that communication or conversation skill is the ABC of all soft skills. Any soft skill that we talk about, whether it is team building, leadership, whether it is mentoring, whether it is handling a problem, whether it is managing stress, in all these skills, in some way or the other, the importance of communication comes into play. And as I've often said, that communication is the lifeblood of any organization, any group, or any basically any body of people, any company, or even it may be a couple, two people. Communication is the lifeblood. Without communication, no association, no relation, no working relation can keep going. It is not possible for us to spend even one day without communicating. And most of the communication that we have is conversational, that is to say, spoken communication, in which people, two or more people, come face to face and they talk to each other. So, what are some of the skills that you need to master? The most important skill, the most basic and the most important conversational skill that one needs to master is listening. Many people think that conversation is about talking. Well, of course, it is about talking. That is, whenever we say conversation, we think of it as two or more people getting together and talking to each other. So, without talking, there will be no conversation. But then, if it is only talking, then it is just going to be one way. Communication skill is not also about talking. It is, I'm sorry, communication skill is not only about talking, it is also about talking, which means it is about something else. What is that something else? It is primarily about listening. It is primarily about listening. Without a listener, the talker will have absolutely no impact or no meaning or no satisfaction of having participated in a good conversation. If out of all the skills that are related to communication, there is one skill that you need to master, it is listening. Listening is one skill that will really take you places. Everybody wants a good listener, be it at workplace, be it at home, be it in their personal lives, or be it in their friend circle. Everyone wants a good listener. And if you can become a good listener, you will, this one factor will contribute immensely to your success in life. Listening means taking the input, listening or hearing what the other person has to say, and then processing it in your mind, thinking about it before giving your feedback. Next, you need to work on your non-verbal communication. Now, what is non-verbal communication? It is also known as paralanguage. Many people, they confuse non-verbal communication with body language. Non-verbal communication and body language are not the same. They are two different things. Body language is, as the name suggests, body language, how you conduct or move your body, what kind of gestures you do, and your facial expressions during a conversation. Okay. Paralanguage or non-verbal communication is more about your voice and how you modulate your voice. Not what you say, but how you say it. The tone of your voice, the volume of your voice, the speed, where do you take pauses, and How do you emphasize a certain word or a certain clause? That is what nonverbal communication is all about. Now, talking about tone, most of the time, misunderstandings happen not because of the content of what is being said, but because of the tone in which it is being said. You know, you might be trying to be assertive, or you might be trying to sound confident, but in the bargain, you might come off as sounding arrogant and rude. So it is very, very important that you watch your tone. One exercise that I always recommend to people is record your own conversation and then listen back to it. Listening to yourself when you're speaking and listening to your own recorded voice are two totally different things. It's very, very interesting. Try this exercise. Better still, ask someone to record your voice when you're not aware that you're being recorded and then listen back to it. You will know exactly how you sound to others. Then we talk about volume. You should be loud enough to be heard, but not appear to be shouting at someone. If you talk in a very low volume, you will sound as if you are either lying or you lack confidence or both. Your volume should be good enough to be heard at least in the entire room that you're speaking in. Next, we talk about the speed of your conversation. Now, when you talk about speed of the conversation should not happen at the cost of clarity. Don't be in a hurry to finish off what you're saying. Every word has to come out of your mouth very, very clearly and completely. Your speed should be good enough that the people are able to grasp and understand what you say and make meaning out of it. Equally important are pauses. If you just go on and on and on without a pause, for the people who are listening to you, it will be like eating without digesting. The pauses that you give in your conversation when you speak, especially when you have said something very profound or something very new or something surprising, give a pause for at least 2 to 3 seconds. This is the time that is required for the people to comprehend what you say and make meaning out of it. If you go on speaking without a pause, after the first few sentences, people will just switch off and they'll not be able to understand what you say. Last but not the least, emphasis. Emphasize the important words. If there is something that you want to, like for example, if you are talking about some person who is very good at a particular work, you would like to say that, okay, so and so is a very good programmer. He or she is very, very sincere. That person works very diligently. So you emphasize words like good programmer, sincere, diligently, to make sure that people understand that these are the important words. Giving emphasis on particular words tells the people that, yes, this word is the key word or the key catchword in that particular sentence that needs to be understood better. It is not what you say, it is how you say it that matters. Your voice is very, very important, and the way you modulate your voice shows how involved you are in the conversation, or, well, the lack of your involvement in the conversation. One thing that you need to keep in mind: slow speed and loud volume. Slow speed means what I said earlier. Every word has to come out of your mouth very, very clearly. Every word has to come out of your mouth well articulated and complete with equal amount of energy. And loud volume, again, let me repeat, should not sound like you're shouting at someone or scolding someone. Loud volume simply means a volume, a voice loud enough to be heard within the room in which you're speaking. Or if you're speaking in front of a mic, then you should be loud enough for the mic to catch your voice and carry it across. Because even if you're speaking in front of a mic, if your original volume is still very low, even the poor mic will not be able to do anything about it. Then comes your body language, which, as I told you earlier, is different from your non-verbal communication. And your body language shows how invested or involved you are in the conversation. One thing that you need to notice, that when we are talking to a person, subconsciously, we observe the person's body language, and so it works right back. The other person also observes our body language. If you've met a person and after the conversation, let's say if you meet a person for the first time, you don't know the person from earlier. After the conversation, if you are left with a feeling that this is a good person or this is a bad person, irrespective of the words they use, if you carefully think about it, you will realize that there is something in their body language, the way they conduct themselves, the look on their face, their gestures, their eyes, their facial expression. It tells you a lot about a person. The interesting thing is that we all humans are born with the ability to read and understand the body language. The more we exercise this ability, the more it will develop. So next time you're talking to a person, consciously observe their body language and relate it to what they are saying. The results, I assure, will surprise you. Avoid slouching, that is to say, don't let your shoulders stoop. You don't have to absolutely stand in Saudhan like a soldier, okay? But generally keep your shoulders up and back so that it looks like you're awake, you're afresh, and you are ready to take active part in the conversation. Make sure that you make eye contact with the person. Making eye contact doesn't mean that you stare into the person's eyes or try to hypnotize them. Keep your focus on this zone over here, the forehead, the eyes, and the nose. This is the zone in which you need to focus. So it means that you're making eye contact. Of course, keep looking in the person's eyes, but as I said, don't stare or try to hypnotize them. Just generally keep your gaze in this zone. So it will look like you're making eye contact with them. The reason being, if you avoid eye contact, it will show that you're either nervous or you're lying or both. So make eye contact. Avoid fidgeting. Many people have a habit of fidgeting. They either carry a pen or some instrument in their hands, or they are fidgeting with their own fingers. Again, fidgeting is a sign of nervousness. Fidgeting may be construed as you are not being honest and you are trying to hide something. So avoid fidgeting. A very good way of mastering this is practice your speech, practice your talking in front of a full length mirror. Sit with a chair and have someone ask you questions and give answers to them, and then record yourself. Observe your own body language, the way you are behaving and going about it in a mirror. You will know where exactly your body language faults are. You sit in front of a mirror, the mirror won't lie. So you will know if you're slouching, you will know if you are almost slipping down in the chair, you will know if you have a habit of fidgeting. Another very irritating habit that many people have is they keep shaking their legs when they sit. Not a very good thing, not a very good sight to watch, especially in a formal setup. This is guaranteed to put you at a disadvantage. So observe these things in front of a mirror and recording yourself, and work on them. Be consciously aware that you have such a habit and get rid of it. Next very important thing is, please use the right words. That is to say, if you're talking to an audience or if you're going to converse with a person, what is the profile of the audience? The audience might be one person, or the audience might be hundreds of people. What is the profile of the audience? Okay. Are they in the same profession as you are? Have they studied the same subjects that you have studied? That is, will they be able to understand the technical terms and the abbreviations if you use them in front of them? If no, then you may like to make it easy for them to understand. What is the occasion? Is it a formal occasion or an informal occasion? Okay, just like your behavior and your dress, even the words that you use are very, very important. For example, saying something like, give me that thing, or send me a mail. Instead of that, if you say something like, could you please pass me that thing, or may I request you for that information, or I await your mail, or I look forward to your reply. It sounds more formal and more polite. Nextly, as I said, don't use technical terms when you're talking to a non-technical person. You wouldn't want to be assaulted with a barrage of technical terms about a field or a profession that you don't know, right? So the same thing applies to the other person. You might be very excited and passionate about what you're doing, but the other person may not have a knowledge of the subject. And if you go on with all the technical words and abbreviations, that person might be pretty impressed with your English language, but they'll be able to make little or no sense out of what you say. So keep that in mind. Lastly, of course, are you giving off positivity through your talk? Are you being positive? That is to say, are you using too many negative words? Are you bad mouthing someone, or are you saying things which do not necessarily give off a lot of positivity? Ask yourself this: am I giving off positivity through my talks? So use the right words that give this off. Avoid controversial topics. Again, it may be a formal or an informal gathering, but avoid controversial topics when you're in a conversation. In a formal gathering, in an interview, or in a workplace, of course, it is an absolute no-no. But generally, even if you are in a group of friends, and nowadays, because we are often working in very diverse environment where people come from different backgrounds, and you gather only to discuss work and have a pleasant time, avoid topics like religion, politics, gossiping about someone, or anybody's personal life, because religion and politics, of course, are very, very touchy and sensitive topics, especially in our country, but all over the world. People are very touchy about them. People have very strong beliefs, and it is not a very good thing to generally provoke people over these topics. Unless, of course, you have met a group specifically to discuss these topics, then it's a different thing. You can work out your dynamics. But generally, in our day to day life, when we meet our colleagues or our friends or even casual acquaintances, such topics are best avoided. Unless, of course, you're ready to handle the fallout, then it's a different thing. But I would really recommend that you avoid such topics, especially in a formal and a work setting. Gossip, again, is a favorite time pass for many people, but please understand that when you gossip and when you entertain gossip, or when you spread gossip, you listen to it about someone and pass it on to others, it becomes a reputation. You get branded as a gossip monger, and the next thing you know is people are gossiping about you behind your back, and it's generally not very good for anybody's reputation, and it definitely might backfire on you one day. So please avoid gossip. If there's nothing else to do, it is better to keep quiet rather than indulge in gossip. And of course, personal life, you know you really should not take interest. I know sometimes it can be very tempting to know about details of other people's personal lives, and share your own details. But unless you are very, very close to that person, and unless the person is very trustworthy, generally sharing own personal life or the personal life of others is not a very recommended thing. It generally does not end very well. It may not always hurt you, but it is not a very, I would say, fruitful use of your time. So avoid such topics at all times. It is also a source of a lot of misunderstanding amongst people, and friends also. So please avoid discussing anybody's personal life, especially at workplace. That is not a place to discuss these things. And even if you have to discuss these things, it is to be only with a very, very closed and a very selected group of people. Avoid filler words. Many people have a habit when they talk, they are like, I guess, and because you don't know what to say next. So you are generally using these filler words to fill up the awkward gaps in your conversation. Again, something that I would urge: record yourself while speaking, record your own speech and listen back. You will realize if you have this kind of a habit. Please avoid using these filler words. For example, if someone asks you a question, you went for rock climbing, how was the experience? And if your answer sounds like, well, I went there and it was great. I guess I was not so good at it first, but well, I learned. Now compare this with something like, oh, it was a great experience. At first, I was not really good at it, but I learned. Now I'm looking forward to doing it again. Obviously, the second answer not only sounds very good to the ears because it is free of all the ums and oohs and ahs, but also because it sounds confident. So again, like slouching, or like avoiding eye contact, or like a low volume, these filler words show that you do not have sufficient knowledge of the topic, or that you are not sufficiently prepared to discuss the topic, or maybe you are not sufficiently interested in the topic, or you're not taking it seriously. So please avoid filler words, especially in again, in a formal setting or in a work environment, or if you're going for an interview. If you need to prepare some answers, the technical answers, please prepare them, because over there, using these filler words and filler sounds really, really doesn't bode very well for you. It goes against you. So avoid this. Last but not the least, there are three things that you must do to improve your spoken communication, your conversational communication. That is practice, more practice, and some more practice. Okay, there is absolutely no other way. There is no magic pill or a magic mantra which I or anyone can give you. You have to practice. You have to start by recognizing where your weaknesses are, and then practicing to overcome them. So record your own voice, record yourself while speaking, record yourself when you are giving a speech or when you are making a demo presentation. Do it in front of a mirror. This is how you will understand where your shortcomings are, whether it is in your body language, or in your non-verbal communication, or in your speech, and then work to consciously improve them, maybe one drawback at a time, and then move on to the next and the next. You can start off by doing it in front of a mirror, and then you can do it with an audience. Okay. The audience might be initially of one person, someone who is very close and trusted friend, or maybe a friend who, along with you, wants to improve their conversational skills. So you can start off with a very short audience of one or two people, and then move on to larger audiences. So these are some of the essential conversational skills that you need to master to be a good speaker and a good presenter. I hope this video has been informative to you, and thank you very much for watching patiently. If you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the message section. I'll be very, very happy to help you. Till then, remember everything that I've told you in this video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and wish you all the very best of luck in improving your conversational skills. Thank you.